So today's Tanya is the 26th of Iyar. And okay, so the Alter Rebbe says something very, very interesting, very amazing. And that is that there's the idea of every single universe has a Kodesh HaKadoshim. What is a Kodesh HaKadoshim? Is using the example of a mind, that the soul is in the whole body equally, but it's revealed in the mind. And really the mind is the command center. From the mind comes the behavior. The whole body is run by the mind. So also we have the mind, if you want to call it the brain of Hashem, which is like Keser and Chachma and Bina, but Keser is even deeper than the mind. This is what we were talking about. The idea of the why. Why did Hashem make the world? Because the world doesn't exist on information. The world is a whole bunch of information. But the story is that the information itself has to have a reason why it exists, right? So just like Bill Gates made Microsoft Word. Why did he make it? So sure, there's a lot of information, or Henry Ford made a Ford car. Why did he make the car? But really, he made it so a person can drive, or a person can have basically what do you call it? Like a paper on a computer. That's all. So basically, it exists for a person. It exists for a different reason. There's a lot of technology that goes into it, but it exists. Even Amazon. Amazon has 1 million employees, a massive company. But why does it exist? So a person can buy a product on the internet. It's simple. So Hashem made the world from love, from a desire. So the thing that drives creation is a lot of information behind it, the biology, the psychology, the everything. But it exists only because Hashem wants it to exist. It's a desire of Hashem. Now, that desire is within the Torah, because Hashem doesn't want a world to exist because he has nothing better to do with his time than to make a world. Like we said before, that the greatness of Hashem is not that he made a world. For Hashem, we gave the example that a person, like today we have AI, so a person makes art, it's amazing. People could pay a lot for art. But who would pay anything for an AI-generated art? Nothing. Because it took a second to make. It could be very beautiful, but it's nothing.
You can make a virtual world.
Huh?
Yeah.
You could, right. You could even, you could probably, these days, you'll probably be able to tell AI to generate a virtual reality, or generate a virtual reality for you. It's not a big deal, right? I mean, I'm sure soon you'll be able to have AI movies. You'll tell it, make me a story about blah, blah, blah. It'll create a whole story for you.
Instead of my living room, put your goggles on.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So the point is, the same things with Hashem. Hashem could do anything. So why did he do this? He did this because he wanted us to actually have a true ability to make a difference, to grow. Because what's the thing that makes people happy? It's personal growth, it's ability to give, to love, etc., etc. Now, what's very important to realize is that the Torah is the growth that Hashem wants. So what is the growth that Hashem? It is the Torah, right? The Torah is telling you, the Torah gives us free choice. The world gives us free choice. In fact, it's interesting, the Rebbe says this, the essence of the Torah is Chassidus. And so the essence of Hashem's will is Chassidus. So when we say Hashem looked into the Torah and made the world, he looked into Chassidus. And Chassidus is even a higher level. So the world is operating, when you look at Chassidus, it's very clear that the world is operating based on the principles of Chassidus. I mentioned this before, but there was a guy, he's a special Yid, and he heads a team of researchers, probably the top 1,000 theoretical physicists in the world. They've been studying for 40 years philosophy, religion, quantum physics, and mathematics. And I was in a lecture where somebody said, okay, after 40 years of studying, which thing is closest to quantum physics? He said, Chabad Chassidus. He's working on creating the mathematics of how Chabad, and it's true. If you look, Chabad Chassidus, quantum physics, this is reality. So it's not that quantum physics made Chabad Chassidus made quantum physics. And that's the way the world works, because Chassidus is the essence, and the essence created the expression, right? We work from the inside out, not the outside in. At least how it really works. We may be in the outside perimeter of the world, so we're seeing the outside, but it really works the other way around. So Hashem's will for us to exist is the purpose of the world. And he wants us to exist in a Torah world, in a Torah way. In other words, he wants us to use the Torah that this is the type of lifestyle that I have. So the goal of life is that, or I shouldn't say the goal of life, because right now we're talking about the structure of life, is that in every universe there's the world of Atzilus, and of course it's the first world, there's the Keser, the desire of Hashem, Chachma and Bina, the highest levels of Torah, and that is what's called the Kodesh HaKadoshim. But the Kodesh HaKadoshim goes through Malchus, and Malchus is the Shechina, and Shechina is like the womb, Shechina that creates the world of Atzilus, and all the souls and the angels, and then that world, or Malchus, then creates the next world. It becomes the Keser, it becomes the crown of Bria, and that goes through the stages of Chachma and Bina to Malchus of the world of Bria, which that becomes the Malchus of the next world, or the Keser of the next world to the Malchus. So every world has its Kodesh HaKadoshim, it has its head, then kind of it has its Malchus, its womb that creates that world, and becomes the forerunner. If you think about a person as a child, and the child creates the next child. So it's similar, you create that universe, and then from there you get the next universe until you get to our universe, and that's the ultimate manifestation. And so in each thing is the previous thing. The Or Ein Sof is there, but the revelation of the Or Ein Sof comes from its knowledge source, goes into Malchus, and then from Malchus it manifests into actuality. And that's basically the Tanya of today. And then Tanya is going to go into a lot of very beautiful, deep things. L'chaim v'levracha.